Welcome back to the Last Call podcast. I'm your host, Arthur G. If you're anything like me, you appreciate a good scare just as much as you enjoy a good cocktail. My guest today provides plenty of both. He is a prolific Florida-based horror author with over 17 novels to his name, including his recent releases, Words of Christ in Red, and This Book is Cursed. Sounds like a very fun read. He is also the host of the Blood on the Typewriter podcast, where he dives deep into the minds of dark fiction writers every single week. Grab a drink, lock your doors, and please welcome to the show, Robbie Dorman. Welcome in, Robbie. How are you today?
I'm good. Excellent. I'm very gingery because of the cocktail.
For those at home wondering what he's referring to, today we had the Eldritch Abyss. It's a cocktail we found online that felt right for this cosmic horror themed kind of show that we're doing today. As you can tell from the colors in the background, it's a vibe. We're going to put the drink recipe in the show notes, but it does have a really unique color for mine. And Robbie has a slightly different color because we had some.
Yeah, I don't have the Kraken black rum. Oh, where's my camera? There it is. It's very dark red, and I do have a glitter. There's glitter in there.
There's glitter in yours?
I have the edible glitter.
Mm-hmm.
So it does still look spooky.
What do you think of the drink?
I mean, I like it. Again, I had said this before we started recording. It's not a daily driver. Probably wouldn't make it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or every other day or whatever, but I do like it. It has the unique blend of the rum and the absinthe and the liqueur, the berry liqueur stuff, like all this. It's nice, like the lime juice. There's a balance to it. I don't know. I think because it has a ginger syrup, and any ginger syrup, you make it yourself, you buy it, unless you're getting whatever ginger syrup they intended. It could be like a thin, very sugary ginger syrup, or like the one I made, which is like the most gingery thing I've ever. And I was like, I tasted it, I'm like it's like kick you usually get when you taste something like really hot, high alcohol content, but instead it was just the ginger. So I'm like, let's dial back the ginger a little bit.
Yeah.
And I did that, and it tastes really good.
I appreciate that you made it yourself, the ginger syrup, and you gave it a shot, because there's so many people who would look at even as something quote unquote basic as making a simple syrup. A lot of people get intimidated by it. You know how many times I see Publix, not a sponsor, probably won't be. They'll sell their simple syrups there. It's like, that's just sugar and water in a little bottle. Like it's cheaper to go buy the bag of sugar, and you can make simple syrup for like the next year with one bag if you do it right. Yeah. So appreciate you taking the effort, man. But again, welcome to the show. Tell us. So you have a lot going on. You have a very busy life, and honestly, I have no idea how you're not asleep at all times. Before we get really into it, I do want to give a shout out to Chris Bishop. He is the guy who put us together. He has been on the show before. He's a photographer.
Shout out, Chris.
Creator. So shout out, Chris. Hell of a guy. Fantastic human being. I did not want to forget to thank him for putting us together. So, Robbie, tell us about yourself. 17 novels is not a game. Tell us.
Yeah, I'm Robbie. I have 17 books out. Most recent is Words of Christ in Red, came out last year. It is religious horror, Southern Gothic, very sweaty book. I describe it. A lot of my religious trauma from my childhood dumped into a book. But I say to people, I like all kinds of horror, so I write all kinds of horror. So that's anywhere on the scale of like psychological horror, not a lot of violence, low body count, more cerebral, to high body count, lots of blood and guts, very gory. I like everything on that spectrum, so I write everything on that spectrum. I have been publishing since 2019. I had a very aggressive publishing schedule early on. I published 3 books a year for the first 4 years of my career. Yeah. And then 2 books a year for, I think, 3 years. And then last year I just did 1. This year, none so far. I'm not done with the year. I've slowed down intentionally, kind of trying to be more intentional with my choices about how I'm publishing and what I'm pursuing. But with that slowing down, I'm also started the podcast, Blood on the Typewriter, where I'm interviewing other authors every single week, which I've really been enjoying. But I'm a professional, active professional member of the Horror Writers Association of America, Florida chapter. I try and do as much as I possibly can. I am active on social media.
Yeah.
I run seminars, which is how I met. I think I actually met Chris at a horror convention, but then he took my seminar, and that's when we kind of grew closer. And now he's a published author.
Yeah, Chris actually told us about how he met you, because the night after your seminar is when he came and did his episode. So he was doing that class, and he said, "Oh, I met one of my favorite authors." He just walked us through it all, and he just really he fanboyed. I'm gonna say it right now. He fanboyed over your work. So it was definitely something that he was excited about. So I wanted to make sure that we got to know each other. Ironically enough, you and I kind of ran into each other at the Courtesy, one of my favorite bars, and I'm like, and we sat next to each other for 35 minutes before I was like, and we talked. We had a full conversation. I was like, I know you. You know me, kind of. We're friends on Facebook. You're like, oh.
Well, I mean, one, you did not. When you meet, if I had gone in knowing you would be there,
yeah, exactly,
I'd be like, oh, of course. But now but sitting right next to you, and I was like half drunk at the time.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't.
Yeah, but you were like, you just said Chris's name. I'm like, wait a second, Chris? He knows, and then I'm like, oh, okay, of course, all this, and it's very funny that we ran into each other.
Yeah.
But Chris is I call him my first graduate.
Yeah,
he's the first person who's taken my classes and published afterwards. So,
congrats, man! That's a good feeling. It always feels good to be part of someone else's success, or
absolutely
not part but just in that story, right?
Yeah.
But so I gotta ask, so when you get into something like writing, cosmic horror, or just horror in general, so many genres of horror, what got you into that path? Was it something that when you were young, because you said you have been now writing full steam for 7 years? Just full steam ahead, published and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's taking it seriously is how people often ask me, like, when did you start writing? Well, I've been writing since I was alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since a child, I would write. Mm-hmm. It's not like I was... And as I was growing in, like being a teenager and then like a young adult,
what made you
wrote online? I wrote on websites. I wrote blogs. I wrote my live journal, whatever, back in the day. For anyone out there old enough to remember live journal.
Oh yeah.
But I always loved horror. It was really, I always liked all genre fiction, really, horror, science fiction, fantasy, etc. Horror was always the one I most gravitated to, and at a certain point, when I was choosing to pursue this as a career, take it seriously, mm-hmm. It felt like that's where I fit the best. It's like I could write, and I have written, some of my stories are like science fiction adjacent or thrillers, like they have that pacing, but it is the playground that I'm most comfortable in is horror, and because it allows me, I don't know, the most interesting kind of game pieces to set, like as a metaphor, like it allows me to write the most challenging things, to push the envelope as far as I want. There's very few boundaries in horror that you can't go past. If you write, if you can't, I mean, there's just like, I can push as hard as I want. If I'm writing a story, I can make it as challenging as I want, and there's no one telling me that's not acceptable in this genre. Horror readers in general want that. They want stuff that's going to push the envelope. They want stuff that's going to challenge them, mm-hmm. especially, I think, modern horror readers, especially. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I always sat in the genre was. And it's not to say that I couldn't or won't write. I have a Western. One of my books is a Western. So it's a dark Western. It's very grim. Yeah. But it is, and it's like fantastical. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a horror story, though. It's a Western. Yeah. It's firmly, and I've always loved Westerns. I would also say that my Western is the one book that is sold the least. So not a lot of people want the Western necessarily, even though I tell them I love it.
In fairness, also, like if I go to my favorite horror author and he suddenly like threw a not spaghetti Western, but I want to like something drastically different than what I'm used to, is like, what is this? What are we doing? It's like when you have your music artist who has been doing rap forever, and then suddenly they let out a rock album. It's like,
they change genre on you. Yeah. And I like, there's certainly a part of me.
Yeah.
No, but there is. I mean, I just did a seminar about in the intro to publishing. Like basically your options, if you're just starting out as a writer, where can you put your work? How do you sell your work? And I talk about the market, about market expectations, and how we are all susceptible to it. And this is not even just writers, like you mentioned, music. It's like when you start selling your work, people are going to start having expectations on you. The market is going to have expectations of you. If I write horror and then I write a Western, people probably aren't going to want the Western too much. And that's not, I'm not upset. You know, it's just simple. It's just a fact. But it is also something I think about a lot, is like, you have to, if you want to be a person that publishes in multiple genres, if you want to be that kind of like genre hopping kind of author, it's going to be more difficult for you, because people want to know your brand. They want to know what you are without even reading the book. Yeah. And that applies to any kind of artist. Yeah.
And there's this double-edged sword, right? You write what you love and you write what you enjoy, and it'll come through and people will see it in what you're doing, and people will love it typically because they see the passion in it. But yeah, if you've created kind of an audience and a consumer base and switch from it, they might be a little hesitant, but you don't know until you try it, right? So for all you knew, you made that Western and it knocked it out the park, and you're like, oh,
it's a great book.
Oh, yeah, no,
but
yeah,
it's not gonna. But I didn't publish it expecting it to go, to sell a million copies or whatever, or sell 10,000 even.
But so I want to go back to, what was the aha moment when you decided to take it serious? Like, was there something happened in? I mean, obviously, without getting too personal, unless you want to,
there is a crossroads moment. I think a lot of people, whenever they start, that switch is flipped. Me and my wife moved from here. We lived here originally. It's where we met and got married. Then we moved to Canada. And I kind of left for her job, for her career, which was the right thing to do. She is a real person job. Which is, it's not to say that writing is a real job, but you know, she has a respectable
let's be fair to creatives. It's respectable too.
Okay.
Half these people running around need entertainment to.
I know. I'm with you. I'm
here to root for the creatives that are listening at home.
I appreciate you. But I had just had this opportunity where it's like, I didn't have a job for a little bit, and I had written my first novel, and I'm like, what do I do with it? And I kind of just pushed, and I pushed, and I pushed. I went as hard as I could. And then the pandemic happened. And then, so everything changed again. You know, we had to adjust, like everyone did, to a new world, effectively. And my career, what I was going to do, my plan for my burgeoning publishing career drastically shifted. And I kind of just put my head down and wrote, which is why I have so many books. It's like there was nothing going on. I couldn't do conventions. There wasn't networking events. Sure, there was like online networking events, but they're very different and they feel weird to me. So I didn't do them. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I could write. Yeah. And that's what I did.
So that was okay. That's fair. Like, you knew you had a skill set, you wanted to hammer it down, and we've talked in we've spoken in previous episodes about how the pandemic shifted the frame of mind for everyone. People were exploring, or just exploring new creative outlets or interests or things that they would never have done because the world changed and it forced them to adapt. But you decided, hey, I've wanted to do this. I'm going to take this opportunity, just buckle down and write freaking 17 books.
I mean, that's published. That's 17 books that I published. I have another 6-7 manuscripts that are in my computer that I could publish tomorrow if I really, really wanted to. Okay.
Light flex, Robbie. I get it.
I mean, but it is like, we are always, like, I've talked about this a bit, but authors, a lot of times, what you're seeing out there that has been published by either them or by a publisher it's in our wake. That's stuff we wrote probably years ago that we're just getting to now. And the stuff that I'm writing now, you might not see for a year or 2 years or 3 years, depending on how I publish it, who I pursue, to get it out there. And it's so when people are like, you have 17 books, I'm like, yes, it is. But it feels like that's a different me that did that. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But
it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Especially when I guess as a creative, I understand it possibly more than just a consumer. Because to them, I'll use Game of Thrones. Everyone's like, why is he not writing the next book? The man probably has 88 other projects, other things, other commitments. Those books that you saw were probably written 20 years before they made it to a big screen. So now suddenly there's steps to it, and there's a growth. And then there are projects, at least for me, I can get burnt out on a project and I would have to revisit it because it's not getting the best version of it. There are other things that come up. There are editors. I am a terrible speller. Thank God for MS Word, or all my words would seem like I just don't know how to write. I don't know English. So there's a lot of things that have to go into it. People just think you go into a dark room for 2 weeks, come out, fucking published novel. It's not how it works.
I mean, most of the time, no.
Yeah, no.
I have written a book in a week before.
Unless it's like that, or you're Stephen King, who's somehow just writing horror stories about lamps. But
I mean, lamps can be really spooky.
Yeah, as we saw on the show, with Pennywise. They made a lamp out of people. Ah, God damn it. But yeah, so you have gone through a lot of writing and changes in that process. As part of your creative process, we talked about it, those seminars and teaching. What made you want to then put that onto your plate? Because you said, hey, I was so busy, but I decided to also make myself busier. Yeah. What was the purpose in that? Or what was the inspiration?
I mean, one, it's...
Hated sleep.
I was up at 3 a.m. today. Not of my own volition, but I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep. My body, again, I feel like my dad. Like, my dad sleeps 4 hours a night. And I feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm just like, I just wake up and I'm just awake. I don't like it, but it is the simple fact of my life.
Creatives.
But...
Creatives.
I know. It's not... I just sit there. I might as well just be awake. Like, I'm just laying there for like an hour doing nothing. I'm like, what am I doing? Just get up. Do something. But I do find it genuinely very rewarding. Like you mentioned, Chris, I do find it genuinely, like when I help people and give people the knowledge I didn't have when I was just starting, it like does make me feel very good. I like that ability that I can pull people up. Like it's an old adage, like you have two hands. With one hand, you reach up for the next thing for yourself. You try and pull yourself up. You want to be better in your career. You want to sell more books. You want to reach more readers, etc. But you have two hands, so the other hand goes behind you, pulls up people alongside you. I like help people up behind you. It's the thing I keep in mind literally every day. And I'm a part of a really great writing group here in Orlando that I helped found, Authors Anonymous. I want to give them a shout out.
Please do.
And I've been a part of multiple writing groups, and most of them are terrible. This one's great. And so they kind of help Ashley, our fearless leader, kind of helps organize that stuff. They are like this very fertile bed of like people who are like-minded and love to write, and I want to be able to help them. And it's like pragmatically, and the other half of it is, as a freelancer, as a self-published author, you need to have as many revenue streams as you possibly can. And this is a way for me to get my reps in, basically, as doing seminars, doing classes, doing workshops. And it has gotten to the point where I have 3 now. I have 3 classes that I've run, which is, novel writing 101, a revisions class, which is, you write the novel, you need to fix it. And then 3, publish it. How do I publish it? Where do I publish it? What's the right choice? I'm like, well, there is not really a right choice. There's the right choice for you. But next one I'm going to do is how to self-publish, because I'm very experienced in that. And the one after that, I don't know yet, but I'll figure something out. And like, I would intend to build out this library, just like I have a library of books. I'm gonna build up this library, this catalog of seminars and workshops I can do, and if eventually start going wider, going broader with that, selling that stuff online, going and be willing to run those classes for different groups and add that to another way I can make money, which is, an unfortunate reality. And like, that could change. Maybe next year I get a 6-figure book deal. Maybe I'm not going to be running as many classes if I get that. I don't expect to get that, but it's always possible. So it's like, I want to have that ability. And just, I am at the point in my career where I'm very competent and very knowledgeable about all this stuff. Like, it's not, I don't have to reach for this information. It's right here. I can speak about it very clearly and a lot more better. It's like, when I talk about reps, it is very much a learned skill. Learn how to talk to people, learn what the information they need, adapt to people, adapt to the questions they have, and realize this is what the information people want, give that to them, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like both. It's like, I want to help people. I really do. I find it very rewarding, and I do it a lot of times without, I'm not getting paid a lot of times for people. I reach out to people and say, like, hey, you have any questions, just ask me. I try and be as generous with my time as I can be, because people above me have done the same thing to me at times. And wanting another option if I need to, try and get another paycheck at the end of the year. Because there's certain groups that will pay quite well if you know what you're talking about. I could tell you, hey, don't get scammed by a publisher.
That's fair. Is to make sure that you also, I think even with, I have had friends reach out. I'm not an expert by any means, but those reps matter, right? All the mistakes I've made to get to, like, now I have systems to ensure I make less mistakes, to kind of make my workflow much more efficient. And even paying for that what some people say, oh, that's easy. Not really. Because as many things as you could look up online and try to learn, the experience trumps that. Making those errors, finding more efficient ways, finding out how, for you behind the scenes of how publishers and that business side of it works, is something that as a writer, that skill set doesn't necessarily something you were refining. You're trying to be a better writer the whole time. You're thinking about creating art, not about the business side of it. That's why writers have agents. That's why they have publicists. That's why the people around them, when they become super successful, otherwise you're doing all the jobs. So why not get get those skill sets and get that experience from someone who's experienced it all and done it all, and has found success throughout and navigating it. I try, but even for this, I will pick the brains of people that I know in the industries that find success or have done things well, or I just keep trying things out and making the mistakes. And I had a friend of the show, someone we interviewed. He was trying to find a way of shooting short videos on scene. Say, hey, what would you recommend for a travel mic? What would you recommend? So tell me exactly what you need. I'll tell you everything that I know about those items. And we were able to navigate the conversation. And I wouldn't have known that 2 years ago, a year ago. You learn,
and then you look back, you're like, wow, I really have. Now I've gotten to the point where now I can look back where I started. Like, I didn't know anything. And now I know stuff. There's always, but I'm always like, a part of starting that podcast is making connections and asking people who have been around longer than me, who are maybe the step ahead of me. How did you do this? How did you do that? Both in like craft and like how to write better, but also like business stuff, where did you get this agent? Is having a publicist worth it? Where did you give this money to? Hearing those people be so open and honest about, like, here, no, Robbie, this is good. No, don't do that. And it's like, that saves me a lot of time of having to throw spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah. Even as simple as booking guests for a podcast. And there are some people who's like, hey, what are we doing? Is this a business class? But before we move on, even as something as simple as booking guests, you might think who do you contact? There are 88 emails on their sites. There are all these people. Then you quickly find out that very often they have brand managers who manage a big umbrella of people and clients. Yeah. Finding that person is one of those like secrets you find out after
The little trick.
years of doing this and try to get brands, people on the show. They're not answering their emails. Someone that they paid to is answering their emails.
Yeah.
And that's who you need to talk to. But a little bit about not only your craft as a creative, but why part of the things that we also have in common, you and I, is the love of cocktails. I know that, heck, we talked about it early on. You made your own ginger syrup. That was not something you got a recipe from me about. So I'd love to hear about currently what you've been doing and anything. Like, have you been making any kind of horror themed cocktails or anything that you have fun with? I know we spoke about what kind of a teaser for everyone at home. I did ask Robbie what horror themed cocktails you would like to see out there or like inspired. But what have you been working on? What have you messed with?
Lately I've been making, we have a bar here in Orlando, Death in the Afternoon, and they have a drink called the Sinister Kid. And I went there for Valentine's Day and had a Sinister Kid. I went, this is incredible. Love this drink. And they obviously don't have a recipe anywhere. They have an ingredient list and then a very vague social media post showing them kind of making it. And so I kind of had been cobbling a version of the Sinister Kid. I don't think I'm 100% accurate, but I've cobbled together a close enough simulacrum of it that I really like. That I've been making through it until I run out of ingredients. I will probably just make that over and over again. I did for horror themed cocktails. I've made one for my last book, which is a religious horror book, and there's a theme in it. A theme going through the book about the dark shape of God. It's a motif I use over and over and over again. So I made a cocktail called the Dark Shape of God, which is really simple. Honestly, it is 1 ounce bourbon, 1 ounce brandy, 1 ounce. The hardest thing is making the syrup, which is a toasted sesame seed simple syrup. So you have to toast sesame seeds and then make a syrup with them, which gives it a black color without having to use our activated charcoal. And then 10 dashes of Peychaud's bitters. It's like basically like a weird Sazerac. Yeah. That's effectively what it is. It's a weird Sazerac, but it's served over ice in a low ball. I loved it. It's really good. I just don't always have toasted sesame seed simple syrup on hand, so I don't make it very often. But I'm very proud of that. The one drink, my own drink, is really not. I guess it's sort of a horror cocktail, not really, but I have a friend who's a writer, and she's about to publish her first book. Ooh. And I made her a book. I made her a cocktail based on a character in her book, and it's called the Antifreeze, because there's a character in the book who drinks antifreeze. They have healing powers, so they can't drink alcohol. Alcohol doesn't do anything to them. The only way for them to feel something, they have to drink antifreeze.
They basically have to die.
Sort of. I mean, you have to literally poison themselves to feel like alcohol is a very mild poison.
Oh yeah.
And so they are effectively just amping up the poison to make them have the same effect. But I made a version of it. It's like a take on a Corpse Survivor number blue, which is, instead of the number 2, they use blue curacao. Yeah. And so I kind of did a twist on that with an egg white, because she loves foamy egg white drinks. And I'm very proud of that drink. That drink's great. Called the Antifreeze. I can provide a recipe. I don't have the recipe off the top of my head, but
yeah, I would like to send that to us.
It's really if you like a Corpse Survivor, you'll like the Antifreeze probably. It's not too dissimilar. I changed I messed with the ratios a little bit. Other than that, I'm mostly like a very simple, variations on an old fashioned. Most nights, if I'm drinking, I'll pour. Last night it was some bourbon and some Tempest Fusion banana liqueur, like banana bread, old fashioned, effectively.
I love that shit. Yeah,
it was really good. But simple. Most nights I'm not making a complicated shake. I'm kind of lazy. I love a pour B&B over ice. I don't it doesn't have to be a big fancy event, but for the problem with me, you mentioned horror cocktails. Mm-hmm. I got a book for Christmas that has themed cocktails for a bunch of horror movies. And my issue with any of those,
What book?
oh God, it's somewhere back there. I don't remember the name of it. I can tell you later. But they are just not practical.
That is
like
a big problem.
Where like I'm not gonna go buy a bottle for a recipe like I found in a random horror themed book, or I'm not gonna go make a very fancy syrup probably. That's going to take like probably a couple hours between me going to the store and getting the ingredients and sitting in front of an oven and a stove and, you know, boiling stuff and filtering and putting stuff through a sieve multiple times, all that, finding a bottle, like everything, room in the fridge. It's like, if you make cocktails, you have like this very common practical things. Like I don't have room in my fridge for another bottle of syrup. So I'm not going to make it.
Rosanna, my fiance, is shaking her fist right now. Because she is agreeing with you. Because my fridge is full of like 4 simple syrups that I've used maybe twice.
Yeah. I have a bunch of syrups in there, but it's like even at a certain point, I'm like, I don't need to make another one for one drink that I'm not going to be, if that syrup, like, oh, I will use that a lot. I love that flavor. I'll use it. Mm-hmm. I'll make it. Mm-hmm. But I want, at a certain point, there's a limit to how many ingredients there are in the world. And I'd prefer you make, if you're going to do like a book, this is for anyone listening who's going to make a cocktail book, do themes around stuff. Like, I am not going to change
under one simple syrup. Make 6.
Yeah,
make it work.
Make it work. Make it practical. Make it stuff that I could conceivably have in my bar. I would love that, please.
So I'm going to list some of the books that I saw out there. Cocktails from the Crypt, horror film libations. Is that the one?
That's probably it. That's probably it. It's probably, if it's the number one result, it's probably the right one.
The number one result. When I look
That's
at
probably it.
Cocktail books.
Yeah. It's not that it's bad, but it's just like every single recipe is something that it would take lots of work to make.
Oh, this is not shade at any cocktail book. I'm going to tell everyone right now, because I know I'm not a bartender. I want everyone at home to listen. I'm not a professional bartender. I know that I play one on TV. Like a fucking so proper doctor. I just happen to be a nerd and learn enough and all that, but I'm not a professionally trained bartender. I dabble. And one of the things that people at home and my friends have like hit me up is like, hey man, I love this drink. I would never make it because it takes a lot of ingredients. Can you just start making simple shit? It's like, you know what? That's fucking fair. That's 100% fair. If it wasn't for the fact that this is part of my show, it would be impractical to keep all these ingredients and spirits around the house at all times. So I completely agree that there should be, if you're going to write a good cocktail book, look, everyone who's listening at home, if you're going to write a good cocktail book, give me 2 variations. The simple and spirited. You can make it.
I like that. Yeah. That's a very good idea. Yeah. Of like, yes, here's the simple version. Here's easy replacements, which the thing I really wish more cocktail books did was like, and like they're so precious about their recipe. They're like, no, there's no replacements for it. I'm like, I'm not going to go buy a whole bottle for your one. Can you give me a replacement? Give me something close. Yeah. Like, I know, like, okay, give me something that has similar vibes.
Yeah.
That won't taste the same, but will have the same like flavor profile.
Yeah.
Anything like that, I greatly appreciate it. Maybe, and that is more likely for me to bend and go to the store and buy a $20 bottle of whatever you're asking me to get.
One of my good friends, David Jordan, he actually wrote Bohemian Mixologist. It's a cocktail book. His whole purpose in that book was to write a book of cocktails that don't use your normal base spirits. And I told him, I was like, Jordan, David, I know that this was the point, but you know how hard it is to get some of these ingredients. But he's like, go to the back. But like throughout, he'll mention like what he would replace or what he would recommend if you couldn't find this exact brand, what would get you the similar flavor profile. And all I was like, oh, my bad. I just don't have aquavit and all this stuff at my house. Or pushing. I was like, thanks, man. It was like, I didn't realize it. He's like, yeah, it's in there because I do take that into consideration, and he gives you step-by-step instructions.
I appreciate it when, I don't know. I just have this distinct memory, and this is if you're making cocktails, you're probably very familiar with this because I went, I watch one of the cocktail YouTubers that I love, and then I'm like, they put together a cocktail. I'm like, that looks really good. I'm only missing one bottle. And I'm like, I'll go get that one bottle. Mm-hmm. And then this is years ago at this point where I realized, oh, chartreuse literally is not available. If you want chartreuse, it doesn't exist for you, probably. And it was like, oh, you need green chartreuse for this recipe. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not making it then, because I can't. It doesn't exist, unless you know people.
I can get you really good substitutes. I can tell you what would be great substitutes.
I have a couple, and I've tried them, and they're not bad.
Did you try the Luxardo one?
No. Is that new?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try that.
Not a sponsor. It's available at your local Total Wine.
Okay. Like the Luxardo. What is it called?
It's like an herbal liqueur. I will find the name for you.
I'll try I like Luxardo, so I'll try it. It can't. I mean, it's better than a Chartreuse because I can get it.
That is exactly what my point is.
Yeah.
The Green Chartreuse or Green herbal liqueur. So Luxardo del Santos herbal liqueur. It's 80 proof, 40 ABV. It's Highland green herbal liqueur, often used as a sophisticated alternative to Green Chartreuse.
Okay.
Once again, not a sponsor, but Luxardo, if you want to throw me a bottle, I will 100% take them.
Yeah, exactly. But
definitely, I get it. There's some just specs and cocktails that don't make any sense. There are no way. What are the books? We're not here to discuss cocktail books. I'm here to talk about you and your books. So we're going to move on. But for those at home, get yourself an introductory cocktail book if you really want to fuck around and find out. We're 36 minutes in. I can curse. If you want to mess around, get something that's going to be intro to your home bartending. Or tune into our channel and we will help you build your home bar. Self-plug. This podcast podcast grinding. You and I know this life. So tell us about your podcast. What made you want to not only sleep 4 hours a night, but also then every week introduce and interview horror writers and blood on the typewriter? Tell us about the show. What's the premise? What was the goal? And what got started?
It's another thing of looking at my skill set and thinking it's also a part of where I went to. It was last year my book came out, Words of Christ and Red. We've already mentioned it a couple times, but
now available in stores.
Now available. Go buy it if you like religious horror. It's great. I think it's my best work, and I say that with full belief. It's my best book. It's my favorite book of mine because it is it feels like everything else I've written in my entire life is culminated in this book. Mm-hmm. And
you said that there was some religious trauma that led into
Oh yeah. I mean, I went to a Southern Baptist private school until 7th grade. You're
not the first person who told me that. Southern Baptist.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's it's the common ex-evangelical kind of thing. But those I've unpacked all that stuff for years now, but this book kind of is this culmination of my both my ability and a unique perspective on things, and it is very much feels like an achievement. But in that same way, no agent wanted it. I couldn't.
Is it the themes?
I could talk to you for hours about agents and how opaque, why they want something or why they don't. It could be because it's only 65,000 words long, not very long book.
Okay.
It could be because it is openly challenging religion and is absolutely blasphemous if you're looking at it from certain perspectives, even though I think my book ultimately talks highly of people who are practicing Christians, people who actually embody the word of Christ. But it could be the themes, it could be the length, it could be that there's a couple agents who liked it, but then they went, nah, I have another person in my clientele that already is writing something similar. There's so many different reasons why it could be a no. And where I'm at my career, I'm really putting everything in my power behind getting an agent. I published this book and it didn't do as good as it is. I think this book is as good as anything I've ever written and as good as anything that came out last year. And it didn't quite reach that expectation of what I want from the book. And I had a hard look at, well, what am I not doing? What can I do better? and like part of it is publicizing myself, putting myself out there as much as I possibly can. I wasn't doing as much, like you said, I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep a night or whatever. I wasn't putting myself out as much as I could. Like and I didn't network as much as I could. I didn't know as many authors as I could. Okay. Where am I? Like, you look at the holes in your game, right? You look at what could I be better at? And what does the market want? There's all like thing we've already mentioned. And I'm like, well, how do I get there? How do I get that knowledge? How do I get there quickly? How do I use the skill set I already have? Because I've been podcasting for over a decade. Mm-hmm. Like, I know how to podcast. I know how to do that. I know how to have this conversation, and I know how to get people to talk, which is really the biggest trick of any of this, is like getting those questions that trigger someone to say the exact thing you want them to. Like, dig into their knowledge. They're a smart person. All right. How do you unlock it?
My secrets.
Yeah, I know. See, though.
Yeah.
More than anyone. Like, a lot of people, they don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. 90% of the challenge is understanding what's going to make the guest speak. The show's not about me.
No, exactly. It's not like when people are like when guests are asking me questions, I'm like, hey. I'm not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. I'll throw in like things that like add context, but we're here to talk about you. Mm-hmm. And let me show your knowledge.
My IG is for stuff about me. But this interview is not about me. It's about you.
Yeah. I love talking about myself, but not right now.
I'm hit and miss about talking about myself.
In my theoretical episodes. But how do I do that? I'll do all those things. Well, one, I could talk to other authors. Which is what I already have. I went to like StokerCon for the last year, which is a big horror book convention, horror writer convention.
Where's that normally?
It travels. Last year it was in Connecticut. This year and next it'll be in Pittsburgh.
Okay. And
who knows after that? It's well above my pay grade, but it's been on the West Coast. It goes all over the place. But it's a trade convention. It is not for readers. It is it's for writers. It is how to network with other writers, with editors, with agents, to take panels and learn about how to write better, to unlock, different genres, how to navigate business stuff in professional careers, all that. So I had this kind of burgeoning network of people that I could interview. And there's a lot of it. It's just like what you said, like reaching out to people I idolize, people who are having books out. They want to publicize their books. They'll happily be on the show. Horror writers, even the most famous ones, are still very accessible, which is very different than,
To be honest, a lot of authors in general are pretty, because they want to talk about their craft.
Yeah, exactly. They're very happy to talk about it, and they want to sell a book. Like, selling books is really hard. If you can help them sell a book, they'll probably oblige. They want to do that desperately. Even if they help sell 100 books, they're quite happy. Mm-hmm. But I went, well, I can do all this stuff. This will help me get there. This will get me, one, it will help me with my craft, because I'll learn the mindset of a lot of these authors who I idolize, who I think are doing a good job, people who have achieved more in their career than I have, or are on their path to it. It will help bring up more people from below me, because I also try and interview people who are just starting out, who are indies, who only have a couple books, or have just published their debut. My first 30 episodes, I have interviewed 3 people who have their debut novels up for a Stoker Award, which is, again, the big horror book award. So those 3 of the 5 nominees were on my podcast for their books, which I'm like, and then I had another, which they're all again, talking to them. And a couple, and these people become my friends, really, like literally, like multiple people I've had on the podcast are now like friends of mine, just because it opened up a channel of communication, because we didn't really have an excuse to talk. And then we talked, and now we hit it off because we are friends, and we're both wanting the same thing. We want to write and publish the best horror books we can. Mm-hmm. But it's all that, right? And I love it. When I read a great book and then get to talk to someone, and they are like, there is like, and you probably have experienced this when you interview certain people, you're like, oh, you're like a really smart person. You run into those people where you're like, oh, you're like, everyone I interview is generally very motivated, very smart. Like, writing is really hard work, and being a writer right now is like, there's like the lazy creative stereotype. Like none of these people are lazy. These are the hardest working people on earth.
Yeah, and the lazy creative stereotype always bothered me because I feel like being creative is exhausting.
Yeah, most people, we're all working multiple jobs. Like we're not just sitting around like, oh, let the muse is going to come and deliver my work to me. Yeah. No, like we are working our asses off.
Because they're thinking about what Hollywood is depicted as the lazy creative, like some guy who's couch surfing and like greasy hair and looks like he hasn't showered in weeks. Who's just like, I don't know, I'm looking for inspiration. That's not every creative, bro.
No, that's most not.
Yeah, like when you talk about like actors, they work triple shifts as waiters so they can pay their bills while they do auditions. That's not lazy.
No, opposite of it.
Yeah, no. Like these motherfuckers, their minds, you're up at 3 a.m. because the moment you are awake, your mind is like, hey, glad you're here. Listen, I've been wondering.
Your central nervous system goes, you got 6 things to do today. Get them done. Including one is edit a podcast.
Don't I know it?
Yeah, exactly. But like there's occasionally I read a book and I think it's great. And then I interview the person and I'm like, oh, you're the real deal.
Yeah.
Is
that more satisfying than?
I mean, they're easier episodes. Like in the long run, like it's just because I don't have to. They just are casually dropping very, very intelligent things about craft, about motivation, about even the business side of things, because they have to navigate that stuff too.
They're also very self-aware of how they want to navigate the conversation. As equally as that you are there to get content out of them.
Yeah,
they have a goal in mind.
Yeah, they want to be smart. They want to give good answers. And it's like I like that because of that, but it's also like it's those moments where this is what I want the show to be. They reach that pinnacle of like where, and like I point at my episode with John Langan, who is one of my idols. And I got to meet him and talk to him about his most recent book. And it's like very clearly like everything you do, you know why. And that's like, that is my truest measure. My truest measure of like that kind of artistry and skill is like, they know exactly why that word is in that place. They know exactly why this story is shaped this way. And like, obviously it's applicable only to their art in writing, but it's when you look at any artist and they go, oh no, this is why that's there. This is why this does that. And sometimes people just luck into a good creative decision. You know, it's like they throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall and something sticks and it works. Yeah. And it's not that that's bad, but the people I love to talk to and I think really embody what I want my show to be is those people who are so intentional and so thoughtful, and they know exactly like, oh, and like they can see and that also applies to the business stuff where they can see the grander picture of what their career is. And they're like, and like, that is just as useful to me, just as interesting to me, because they can recognize choices. Like, oh, do I go with this publisher? Do I go with this one? This is how they've treated me. This is the kind of work they can sell. If I want to write this specific thing, we were mentioning it earlier, how are readers going to react? Because readers know me for this very specific thing. And I don't necessarily want to write that forever. I want to do a new thing.
Yeah.
Well, how will readers react? But they know that. They are thinking about it. They're conscious of it. They're doing everything with intent. And it's like, how does the show change me? It's very clearly like, I need to do things with intent. Why am I doing this project? Why am I pushing this project in this place? And I think it's certainly a sin I was guilty of early in my career where I was just going, you know, because I didn't know any better. Just go, right. And this time, now I'm
always moving.
Yeah, consciously slowing down and trying to be have more intention for every choice. But it's like those are the guests I love the most.
You said something interesting, and it's kind of a little bit off topic, but when you are reading some of the works of these writers, and you said you understand the reason why they put these items here, or this plot point here, or this piece of the story here, do you find yourself as a writer having difficult time removing the writer aspect of it, enjoying the story, or does that enhance the story for you? As like when you see a plot device or you see a character that hey, this person's going to get killed off because it makes sense for the development of the protagonist or something. Does that become almost formulaic in your mind and remove you from like, I think very often I hear friends that lose themselves in a story and allow themselves to get into that world. Do you find it difficult as also a writer to remove yourself and enjoy the ride, or where do you land?
There's very rarely where I am not thinking about the craft of it as I enjoy the story.
Yeah.
Like I am going like, I love this character. Oh man, this is gnarly. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But there's always riding shotgun with that is a writer going, oh, they made this decision. Oh, I can clearly see this character is going to die. This character is going to die at some point in this story. It's inevitable. Something is going to kill this character. It has. You? No, okay. Or very rarely. I think it's like I'm also like not sensitive to spoilers. Like when people are like, oh, I don't want to spoil a movie. I'm like, you can. I don't care. If I like the idea of it, I will go see it anyway. If I know the ending to a book, I will read it anyway if I really want to know what it is, because I want to see how they did it. Mm-hmm. I don't really care about... I don't get surprised by stories. Mm-hmm. Literally, almost like when it happens is very rare and is noteworthy. The vast majority of the time, I don't get surprised. I know exactly how a story is going to end well before. I can see the story shape already. It's because this is what I do for a living. It's just the way it is. I don't get upset by it, but there are times where I will stop reading something, let's say 30% of the way through, because I know exactly what's going to happen. And I already can see it. And like, I'm not enjoying a character that much. Like, oh, the minutia, the prose isn't pretty. The character's not really that enjoyable, just kind of annoying for annoying's sake. And they're annoying because they need to be annoying because it pays off later in the story, but I'm not enjoying it because they're just annoying. Things like that. I could point at
Shout out to Jar Jar Binks. Sorry.
I was gonna say for stories
for writers.
For books, I would point at most recently that's kind of blown up as a series called Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Oh, I've actually
very popular right now. It's going to be a 10-book series. I think there's 8 books out now. I started the first book, and it's well written. I think it's good, but I got like 30% of the way through the first book, and I went, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I'm not I've read this book before. I don't need it again. It's very also like there are certainly calculations about these are long books.
Yeah,
I don't have time.
Yeah,
if I'm going to read a long book, it has to be one that's on the podcast, probably, because I'm reading it for a purpose. I want to have good questions for the guest. I want to know what the book is. But for recreation, if I'm reading a long book, it better be a damn good book.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious how that went, because not a prolific writer, but there's a part of me that understands storylines and plot points and why things go the way.
Well, I mean, at some points, like you've seen a movie before.
Yeah, but same.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. You don't have to be a genius.
Yeah, no. Exactly. But there's a part of me I've had friends and family that sit around me, and I will try to shut the fuck up. It's a little bit of the ADHD where, I recognize patterns. I know exactly.
Yeah.
That person that just got introduced, that's probably who's going to be betray everyone. And I've had to be told to no longer speak like from my fiance and people around me.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's a skill. Like I let people in. You have to let people enjoy things. It's like I don't talk about Stranger Things with people because I want people to enjoy what they enjoy.
Yeah, I shut up and just sit there like, okay. And I had a roommate, my roommate at some point was like, hey, like very often you're on your phone instead of watching the movie. He's like, because I predicted the rest of the movie 14 minutes in. But okay. Like, no, like I'll text my fiance. Don't answer that text until the end of it. And it doesn't take it away from it, because I do think that there's a lot of artistry in it. And there's only so many things that you could do that are new and exciting. There's tropes. There's a reason why there's a formula that works. And Hollywood would typically only put out what works, and they know that's worked in the past. And I understand that there's a lot of things there, but it's just interesting to get your perspective of like, you could still very much enjoy it. I still very much enjoy it, but there is a part of me that wishes I could shut it off sometimes. There's a part of me that wishes I could just shut the brain off and enjoy the ride, and that's why I watch shit like Fast and the Furious. I don't care what the plot is.
No, I mean, there's also like, I love dumb movies. Don't get me wrong. I love dumb stories. It's more like, and I will say this also, occasionally, rarely, I get ones that do shut off that part of the brain because they're so engaging, they're so good.
That's what I reach for.
They exist. It's more rare and rare. I think it's just happened. It's also a part, like, it's nothing to do with me as a writer even. It's just me being older.
Yeah.
Like, you've experienced a lot of art in your life. And like, as you get older and older, it's like, I think is why people reach for nostalgia sometimes. It's because they're not really reaching for the thing that they liked when they were 14. They're reaching for being 14. Yeah. And this is so new and fresh. And oh my God, I can't believe that movies exist like this.
Yeah.
It's not that they aren't making movies like that anymore. It's more that you're not 14 anymore. You're not 8 anymore.
Yeah.
And you want that feeling, 100%. Not necessarily the quality of whatever it is you're consuming.
Yeah. One of the favorite movies has been brought up more than once, and I will not watch it again because I don't want to ruin that nostalgic feeling. I'd rather just a fond memory is the movie The Last Dragon. It's probably trash, but in my mind is one of the best movies ever made. And no one's going to change my mind because I won't rewatch it.
I mean,
I won't rewatch it. Robbie, you can't make it.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think Last Dragon is trash. I think it is campy and pulpy, but it's fun.
Oh, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could be. I will never know because I will not rewatch it.
Okay, fine. I won't. Whatever.
I'm
Sorry.
teasing.
Yeah.
But it was one of those movies, the same thing to your point about nostalgia, where trying to reach for something, not reach, but that was a good memory. That was a good time. That was a great feeling. A movie like that was new, was exciting. It was different. Your hero being the underdog nice guy versus like the big tough mean dude. It's like a couple of
when things were simple.
Yeah.
And you didn't have bills to pay.
Yes. I didn't have to worry about my HOA telling me my grass is too long or not long enough. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Who is pulling a ruler next to my grass?
Oh boy, HOAs.
I hate HOAs. The common theme in all my episodes is that HOAs suck. So I hope they're bad very closely. But Blood on a Typewriter influencing this, like in speaking to these authors, have you ever felt that it's also kind of reinvigorated you and made you want to do things differently, or has it helped influence your writing in some other way?
I mean, it's challenged me, and I think in a good way. Like, it makes, like, there is that, I think in part and partial to writing this book and publishing it, it is talking to these authors, and it's a lot of times the overarching principle, if anything, I've released 30 plus episodes now, is do the weird thing. When you're making your art, whatever it is, whatever art it is, do the weird thing that is from you, right? Whatever in your chest is like, I need to make this weird thing. Do it. Because that's all these people have found success doing that. Because that's where their voice is. That's where your authenticity is. That's what the honesty is. The truth is. Where like that's what we're looking for in art.
Authentic self.
Yes,
not
and
just
like
a cookie cutter.
Exactly. And like a lot of times aspiring to like, oh, I need to make a thing. And like, it's natural as any artist. Like you start by mimicking things you love. You start by copying the stories you liked as a kid, as a young adult, the things that were important to you. You start by mimicking them, trying to tell similar stories or tell them in your way. And eventually you find that voice, your own, whatever that is, that weirdness, that authenticity. And getting told that week after week after week hammers it home. Week after week, every author's like, do the weird thing, do the weird thing, do the weird thing, do the thing that's very personal to you. Because that's overarching. Like, yeah, there's possibly it's going to not sell. It possibly won't be meaningful to anyone but you. But you won't find as much enjoyment out of putting even if something succeeds and sells, because it wasn't personal, you won't find as much enjoyment out of it from all that success.
I love that. I really think that that's a great message. Do the thing that makes you uncomfortable, but you enjoy. You're not sure it'll sell. You're not sure that.
Well, and also I would say live on the precipice of your skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, like whatever the thing, do not just do a thing because you know you can make it. Like I can easily tomorrow could easily lay outline and write a 3-act thriller, easy horror story. Like they're not at this point in my career, I can easily do that. I'm not going to, because it doesn't excite me anymore. It doesn't interest me anymore. I know how to do it. And that's the other thing the podcast really has like emphasized is whatever the scary project is that's going to challenge you mechanically and challenge your ability and as an artisan, as a craft, do it. That's how you get better. That's how you're going to challenge both yourself and make the best art you can. You want to stay there. You never want to go back. You always want to stay right on the edge. Those are the 2 lessons from the podcast. And there's a million others, but those are the 2 big ones.
All right. I love that, man. I love that I think this is also something that's very reinvigorating about anyone who's passionate about anything, creative or not. If someone wants to, there's the Microsoft Excel, not a sponsor of Microsoft. I can't really stand it.
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, make it right.
Yeah.
But they do the Microsoft Excel World Championship. It's like the Olympics for them. I would love to watch it because they're passionate. I would love to talk to someone and tell me about these goddamn spreadsheets. Not because of the actual spreadsheets, but the passion can really reel people in. So, yeah, I love the fact that it's also re-energizing for you to be able to take those risks, to do the weird thing.
Yes.
Today's Pee Wee Herman Playhouse, like phrase of the day, do the weird thing.
Do the weird thing.
Do the weird thing and enjoy it, because I think there's a lot of to be said when I can tell someone's faking that passion. It was just something that'll sell. Just put it out, like The Last Scream, stuff like that. Where it's just, hey, I'm trying to
seen it.
Cash a check. Yeah.
Okay.
But things like that.
Understood.
Yeah, it's not what
it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, I love to see someone's passion. I love to see the randomness. Like even movies like the movie Mandy stood out to me as a wild passion project. That person who made that movie wasn't. Mandy
has definitely influenced this book. There's parts of Mandy that are in Words of Christ in Red. It's funny you bring it up.
I wasn't by mistake. No, but that's great, because I think cosmic horror, especially when you think about those bright, crazy scenes or these dark scenes that are still in the. If you haven't watched it, cinematography is brilliant for such a wild.
It's a beautiful movie, despite the fact it's batshit insane.
Oh, that's what makes it more beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Nicolas
exactly.
Cage, that crazy level of him is just so far off that it's part artistic. Yeah. Like even dark scenes look beautiful. But those are the weird things that stand out to me. Earlier we talked about nostalgia, not to just divert and move on.
Yeah, of course.
This book is cursed.
Yeah.
I want to discuss the twisting of childhood staples, like choose your own adventure books and all this, into this horror, and why nostalgia plays such a powerful tool for scares, right? Like I have my thoughts on it, where when you're an adult, you might not, I can't speak for everyone, you're no longer afraid of the dark because you know what's there.
Right.
When you're an adult, there is a conscious level of like, I know the logical reason why that's happening. But when you're a kid, and that nostalgic fear will forever linger with you because that was the unknown. Like, why? Tell us about This Book is Cursed and why you leaned into those influences.
I mean, a lot of times its ideas they don't come out fully formed. It's very much like you get the seed of something and then it sprouts in directions you're not really necessarily expecting, I would say. Like you can kind of, much following the same metaphor, you can kind of prune the tree in the direction you want it to go. But it really started out as like very simple, like that's a fun idea. I want to write that, of like a cursed chooser. Like there's so many cursed video game stories out there where you're like, oh, you play in the video game, and if you die in the video game, you die in real life. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what's this? Like, and I'm like, I love old paperback books. And I grew up on choose your own adventure books in the 80s and the 90s. And I'm like, oh, that's like that'd be a fun idea if like you find a choose your own adventure book and it's cursed, and if you follow the wrong path, it kills you. And that was really all there was. There was nothing else in that book. And then kind of different things. I'm like, that general principle kind of built everything around it. It turns into much more like it's a book about a book. It's like authors love writing books about books. Like we love because
like
we're
Inception
nerds.
type thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. Always, it's meta. There's always these meta layers. We love doing it. There's so many books about books. Books about writing. People have writers and main characters. Stephen King.
Secret Window.
Yeah, Secret Window. I mean, he wrote dark half. Like there's a bunch of Stephen King wrote. Hell, the Shining is kind of about that too. It's a book about a book. It's a book about, but it's also about like even I have another book called Splatterfest, which is a murder mystery, a slasher that's set at a horror convention where there's celebrity guests or the victims, and it's all about like celebrity culture and people you idolize turning to, oh, these are not what I thought they were. My heroes are kind of empty. They're not what I expect them to be. And it's like a lot of times whenever I write about nostalgia, it's about how it's a trap.
Yeah.
As an adult, at least. And how it is a dangerous tool that can be used against you if you're not careful. Largely, it's mostly innocuous. It's mostly just used to sell you things that probably you don't need or aren't that good. Like, oh, here's another sequel to a thing you liked when you were 7. Do you like it? I don't know. It has similar characters in it. That logo's the same. They have the theme song. It was re-recorded by
When people release video games remastered.
Remastered video games. I'm like, well, that game came out 4 years ago. Why are we remastering it already?
Yeah.
That's
with enhanced graphics. I was like, is it the
hey,
same story? Yeah, but it's prettier.
I've bought Skyrim 6 different times probably in my life.
So many people did.
Yeah, I mean Skyrim is great. I
bought Castlevania Symphony of the Night in 3 different platforms. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You just keep buying it. You're just like, oh, well, I still like it. Mm-hmm. But this book is cursed is largely it's like that recursive themes of like, oh, you will be trapped by your nostalgia. You want this to be what it was, and you can't recapture it. It's safer and more healthy to move forward and to understand that you're not going to ever feel like you're 10 again. You're very unlikely to. And like, if you do recapture that feeling, it's probably going to be something that comes organically. It's not going to be something that you pursue. You're just going to kind of discover that feeling of like, oh, this makes me feel like I'm 8, but I didn't really try and find that thing. Mm-hmm. It's that twin feeling of like, I really love all that stuff. This is a big trend in horror right now. It's very kind of meta and referential stuff, very heavy referential stuff. Like Stranger Things is a perfect example. Like, hey, remember the 80s? Yeah. Like, yeah, kind of.
For you nerds sitting at home?
Yeah, remember D&D? I'm like, yeah, I play D&D. It doesn't look like this, but sure, whatever.
All the 80s movies where like the nerd gets the girl? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I do remember that. It's that I'm like, that doesn't interest me that much. I usually, if I'm using nostalgia, it's going to be as kind of a point. I'm going to point at, I don't know, very much like it's dangerous. Be careful.
It's a good lesson too.
Yeah, the nostalgia, it can't, and like, not that it's bad. Like, you please have warm feelings about the thing, but don't go in blind to it. Make like you said, you're like, I'm not going to watch it again because I'm going to cherish that feeling I had when I was a kid and I watched it and meant the world to me. And I'm not going to necessarily go back to it and like with a keen eye of an adult man and go like, oh, well, the pacing in the third act, it didn't work out the same way. Or this actor really went too far. This corny acting. I'm like, it wasn't. Keep it pure in your mind. It's only going to be, that's the only place you can keep it pure. Once it's exposed to oxygen, it's not good anymore. And it's really nothing to do with how good the art is either. Like, I don't know, the fake choose your own adventure book that's in the book isn't good art. It has nothing to do with that. It's about, and like a lot of the curse is because it was exposed to humanity. I don't know. It's also, that book is had some legal trouble because choose your own adventure people are very litigious.
Yeah, that can make sense. And
Yeah, they got They sued Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, they did with that last movie,
Yeah.
Bandersnatch.
Yeah. They sued Black Mirror because they did a choose your own adventure thing, but they settled out of court. I am not Black Mirror. I don't have money for lawyers, so yeah. I mean, I'm fine now. That was years ago, but it was. I did have to pull the book back and change it a little bit.
Yeah, and that's part of the process people don't realize too. There's sometimes that pieces of work need to be refined.
Oh, revisions? Yeah. I mean, people don't. I think a lot of people are completely oblivious to the fact that works change that need to be like the first draft is not representative of a finished product at all.
That's why you have editors. That's why you have publicists. You have all.
That's why you revise. Like again, revisions. Writing is revisions. Is what I tell people. Like the writing process. Everything about what makes a book good is it comes after you revise it and revise it and revise it and revise it. You cut away all the crap. You hone away. You hone it to what it needs. Like this very specific message you're trying to get to.
Yeah, that's a process. As a creative, all creatives, I think, don't get appreciated for the processes they have to follow. Painters, authors, like music.
It's not everything. The thing you get. The thing that a consumer sees is
2,000 hours of work.
Yeah, it's. I mean, literally, it's like a year of my life. In times, 6 months of my life just poured into a work, and like all they get is that finished product. They don't see everything behind the scenes.
Every time I hear shouts to Aurora Fable, she's a book girly. She's one of our sponsors. She is an avid reader, and she'll read those dark, crazy romances where minotaurs are having babies with leprechauns and whatever the heck is going on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm on Bookstagram. I see those people.
Yeah, exactly those people. But she'll fly through a book in like a week. Her and Yvonne, also big friend of the show, and they're like, I can't wait for the next book. It's like, you just flew in a week through what probably took them a year and a half. Even if it involved minotaurs and sex, to make and produce. And you're like, when's the next book? Do you know how tired that man is? Man and/or lady is. Like, what is going on? Like, relax. Enjoy.
I'm very thankful for voracious readers that keep us all in jobs. But it is the pressure and the stress. It's the I don't know. A movie is, I think, even worse because movies take 18 months to make, and then you watch it an hour and a half, and you're like, it was okay.
I'm guilty of that. I'm 100% guilty of that.
I mean, we all are. We all do it. I do it. It's the same, but it's the same thing where, like, I don't know. Especially when I could talk at length about, like, as a writer, me critiquing other people's works has changed significantly. Your idea of like, is the book bad or good? Well, I didn't like it. But it doesn't mean if it's good or bad. That has nothing to do with the quality of the book. Yeah. It's the most subjective art form.
Yeah. I tell that to people whenever there's a TV show or a video game or something, just some piece of consumer art that, it's not my vibe, but it's getting overwhelmingly positive reviews here. Or I would thoroughly enjoy something because it was in the right state of mind at the time that I needed or something. And it's like, this is bombed and it has one of the lowest Rotten Tomato scores. Screw you and all your tomatoes. I enjoyed every moment of that. I'm going to enjoy what I enjoy.
Sometimes you want trash.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious is on number 11. So a lot of people want trash. But I still love every single movie. You can't tell me not to watch them.
No, of course. But they're just fun. I don't know. Like that's the thing. That they don't take place on Earth really, but that's fine.
Every time Ludacris ends up coming up with some crazy thing about fighting a dinosaur in a Honda Civic or something, I'm cool. Yeah. I'm there for it. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Look how many times Vin Diesel punches a helicopter.
Are there dinosaurs in Fast and Furious now?
At this point, I don't fucking know.
Okay, I would love it. I honestly, that's where they need to go.
I want the Jurassic Park Fast and
They're going to space. Crossover. You might as well just have Jurassic Park show up.
But I do want to also touch real quick. I know that we're running a little longer.
Oh, whatever. I got nothing else to do.
When you talk about video games as inspiration, as fellow gamers, I know that there's games that might also not get enough credit for their storytelling ability. Old school Resident Evil. I mean, there's a reason why that franchise keeps coming right back.
I'm about 4 or 5 hours into Requiem.
You see, so like the game Requiem is a smash hit right now, like the most recent one that released.
Yeah.
Capcom, if you got whoever wants to play Leon Kennedy come on the show, let me know, and we'll talk to him about
Old Kennedy. I love old Leon.
Oh,
he's old grizzled Leon.
Porsche Cayenne 911, whatever. This agent gets way too much money.
I was gonna say,
take away some of his salary and send more people,
old man Leon.
Send more people with Leon, because I swear to God, this would get done faster if you spent less money on cars and more on agents.
Give him more bullets for that big giant gun, whatever that is.
The other thing, I drove here in a Porsche. Leon, you've done this before. Why didn't
you got 5 bullets for your big giant gun that kills everything? Why we're fighting monsters for literally decades? Give him the firepower.
None of these people are new to this. Why did you not think, you know what? Last time I ran out of bullets.
Maybe bring more.
You were there.
Have a backpack full of bullets.
Yeah. It's like, somehow the typewriter, that's how I memorized everything. Green herbs. Fucking pack better at this point.
Yeah.
Whatever.
This podcast is only Resident Evil memes for the rest of the runtime.
This is straight up Chris Redfield punching boulders. Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
But video games as inspiration. Has there ever been a game or something that's helped shape or give you an inspiration into a book or a piece of creativity?
I mean, here and there, it's always bits and pieces of things. I love I play games of all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
I love horror games, but I will play anything. Really. I'm depending on my mood, a specific example is there's in my Western that I mentioned earlier, it is post-apocalyptic. So the world has kind of crumbled. Yeah. There's definitely Fallout influences on it. Mm-hmm. Specifically the bunkers and the vaults. There's something similar in that. That's just an easy reference, but it feels like a lot of times it's more like background stuff. I typically, honestly, it's not really ever almost always a direct reference. It's always things like exploring a space in a video game keys me into nuances of building, of setting a lot of the times. Okay. It lets me, it's maybe the thing that I'm least good at as a writer, honestly, is describing a setting, because a lot of times I err on the side of, I give you a rough impression of a thing, let your mind fill in the rest. I don't need to tell you what the color of the siding is on this building. Who cares? You can figure that out on your own.
Robbie, have you been listening to my show?
I now have, here and there, I do occasionally.
There's an episode where I spoke about that was Full Frontal Nerdy Day. We joked about some authors will spend 17 pages describing the door.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's stuff that's typically, a lot of times it's in literary work where it is, the point is not the story. The point is that these words are pretty and you should appreciate these words, and that's what you're here for. And that's what they expect you to kind of be on. They don't want a normal genre reader to be reading that book. You're supposed to be there for this prose is so pretty. Oh my God. I can't believe how he described this door for 17 pages and I loved it. But sometimes I do err on the side of not enough. I do think that, and sometimes I get feedback from readers where they wanted a little bit more description of something, because I think there are some readers who they don't have that part of their brain where they're filling in all those details. They go to the book for those details. They want me to give them all that stuff. And a lot of times when I'm exploring a space in a video game, which I love environmental storytelling, I love in places that let me explore, I don't know, Elden Ring or a Fallout or a Skyrim or, any of the big expansive games that you can just kind of pick a direction and wander for a long time. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's noticing how do they pepper in details that make a space feel alive, that make a space feel real. And a lot of times it's like that. It's oh, I can take that and throw it in there. There are sometimes where games directly influence me, but not very often anymore. I do have one of my hot takes, I think, is that there's almost no video games with good writing.
Ooh.
I at least in the classical sense of good writing. Most video games don't have good writing. Most video games don't need good writing. A great video game doesn't necessarily need writing at all. you could, just because it feels real good to play, and like Call of Duty, like it feels real good, like the best Call of Duty games, it just feels real good to run around and shoot. It just feels great. It feels so like tight and mechanically sound, and the feedback's so good. Destiny is a game I bring up. Like it always feels so good to shoot.
Yeah.
No matter all the other problems that game has, it felt so good. It has. I played Destiny 2 for a long time. The people who play it the most hate the game the most, which tells you a lot about that game. But it always felt great.
Like 3
no matter
hours in a game that I hate all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I hate this game, but I played it for 1,000 hours. What's wrong with me? You didn't really need great writing because the mechanics felt so good. A puzzle game, the puzzles are really sound, and you discover them in an organic way, and they naturally escalate in difficulty. Like there's so many different types of games that they don't really rely on great writing. And when people are like, "Oh, that game has such great writing," I'm like, "You don't read books, do you? You clearly don't read books." Like it's fine. It's not that it's bad writing. It's mostly just serviceable.
Yeah.
It's mostly fine. And like I could point at games that very specifically do have great writing, but it's very, very rare because most of the time great writers are not going to be working on a video game. They're mostly going to be probably writing a movie or a book or some other
kind of froze on me a little bit.
Narrative. And that's changed that I point out as a great. Am I okay?
Yeah, you're good now. Good. Perfectly fine.
All right.
Yeah. Back.
Okay. There's a game called Disco Elysium. I don't know if you're familiar with Disco Elysium or Disco Elysium, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Say like a point and click game, CRPG, top-down perspective. That game has great writing. It is incredibly unique. It's like a one-of-one. There's no other games like it. There's a couple games that come out recently that people are describing as similar to it. It's an insane game where you're like a detective in a fictional political world.
Elysium?
Disco Elysium. Yeah. I would suggest to anyone to try it. It's an insane thing.
It has an
your skill tree talks to you throughout the game. That's how the game works. Like you have this expansive, like you can level up and do stuff. You're a detective trying to solve a murder. That's effectively what the game is. But you're a mess. Your body's falling apart. You're an alcoholic. Like you wake up with no clothes on, like hungover, like in an abandoned apartment. Like again, you're as much of a problem as the murderer is. And you level up different skills like investigation skills or brute strength. And as you try to navigate problems, the skill tree talks to you and tells you, "Oh, you wouldn't do that," or it makes fun of you.
Really?
Like it's like your own mind making like literally like how your inner dialogue will talk to you about things. It's like, well, because you've developed your ego, because you have confidence in something, it's going to be like, "Oh, you should do this really dumb thing," and you're like, "Should I? That seems really stupid." No, you can do it, and you're like, "Okay," and you try, and usually you'll fail, but that is a game they invented a whole socio-political culture for that game that is expansive and really well written, and the characters feel real. But that's an example of a game I think does have great writing. It's also kind of slow. It's not mechanically interesting. You're moving a character around and navigating text trees most of the time. You're not like shooting. You're not solving puzzles really. Like, so it's almost hard for video games to showcase like great writing because most of the time you don't want a video game to showcase great writing. You want your video game to be fun. Mm-hmm. Like Super Mario Brothers is not fun if it has great writing. Super Mario Brothers is fun because, wow, that platforming feels great.
Yeah.
It feels awesome to jump from here to there.
Yeah. There are some games. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a little bit of how we spoke about games might be just an escape. People don't need something super complicated. They want to be a part of it. And the easiest way for some people to feel enthralled in it is to have good mechanics, to have a feeling, to be able to get in and out of a game. The world nowadays is very hustle and bustle. So do I really have time to get into a super in-depth game like BioShock or Skyrim or something that might take a lot more time in my day? Not as much as we used to.
I mean, I could tell you that the game that I often point at when people are like, "What's the game you play a lot?" I'm like, I play Power Wash Simulator.
That is an underrated good game.
I love Power Wash Simulator and Power Wash. exactly. I put on a YouTube video, a podcast, let it play.
This pressure wash.
And then I just clean and let there's little noises that pop off that make my brain happy. They go ding ding. Oh, I cleaned a thing. Ding. You're like, oh, I feel great.
And I pressure wash random stuff around my house just because I'm like, I just need to. I gotta go turn off my head.
I love the video game because you don't get wet. I have a power washer,
yeah.
But you don't get wet in the video game. There's there's a bunch of those simulator games now where it's just like do a chore for an hour. Yeah. I like them. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not mad. There's a game. This is a game about digging a hole. I believe it's called. Yep. I like that. That's a good game.
Trucker game where you literally just long haul truck
simulators. Yep. Just driving around, delivering stuff.
Yep. I've actually played a lot of those. Goat Simulator. I don't know what the hell that's about. But I do want to. I feel like if I don't say this out loud, my friend John is going to give me a hard time. Because he is a very big advocate of one-player games, and that's where they're heavily story-driven, where you can really let yourself dive into those. And like a game I enjoyed, but one because of the mechanics that I threw into it, but two, the story was it was deeper, and you're trying to figure it out. Like, it's a game called Senua Hellblade.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, Hellblade's great.
Yeah, a fantastic game where halfway through it, you realize she's schizophrenic, or is she magical or not, or is she really imagining these things? So there's a lot of things. I keep saying things too often. There are a lot of aspects of the game that make it deeper than you expected it to be.
Right, but I would like that, and there is like it's hard to describe that. Is that writing? Is like because it's mechanics. It is design. Yeah. It's certainly design. You're like, oh, well, when she does this, she's going to enter this part of the game. The game is not going to look.
Yeah.
Her perception changes of reality changes. And that's not technically writing, or at least it's not the way people think of as writing. Yeah. Writing, they think of as words on the page. They think of what I do, right? They think of a story. Is that writing? There's a part of me where like, well, they certainly wrote down like at some point, like, oh, she's going to enter this game, this battle arena effectively. But instead of a battle, it's going to be her trying to navigate her senses breaking down, which is a part of, that's a thing that happens in Hellblade.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I wonder if as a writer or even me as a casual, just creative, I think that game gave me, hey, this would be good on film. This would be good. Like, that could inspire, like having a character that they're struggling with what's real and not could be trippy if done well. But if not done well, it could be super confusing for the general public, right?
Yeah. I mean, and there's movies that, navigate. Yes. I mean, that's a very easy one to point out. You're like, oh, unreliable narrators and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like a lot of times video games are trailing behind other art forms because the inherent interactivity of them make them trickier to do those things. And the mention again, like they need to be fun.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people will play Hellblade and will like, Robbie, that game wasn't very much fun. I'm like, that's kind of not the point of it. It's navigating this really crazy perspective that you don't have ostensibly. You're probably just a normal person with like, you don't have schizophrenia or whatever. You probably have never experienced this in your life. This is a window into that world.
Yeah. With
this fantastical setting. And a lot of people are like, I don't want that. I just want a fun game where I jump or shoot.
One of my favorite games that is fun, but then also turn into multiple pieces of literature is BioShock.
Oh yeah. BioShock's great. Infinite's great. I even like 2. 2's really great. I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to make more. They probably shouldn't. It's probably good.
Probably done. Just leave it there.
It's fine. Just leave it.
Yeah. Don't revisit it. But it did, when I did read those books, it was because it was a one player, single player game. And John will kill me if I don't. Well, he'll give me a hard time. He'll call me and be like, come on, man. I know you play single player games. Don't run around like it's only Hunt Showdown. But that game, I thought the writing was great. The twist was great. It felt like you're participating in a movie, but definitely very different skill set. But it's always curious to me how there is a aspect of building atmosphere in video games that doesn't always translate to paper, or the vice versa. There are times that a video game builds great atmosphere, like Silent Hill, foggy, dark, scare, like lights flashing, all this. But no, that's for another day. We could do the the last call about video games and writing at another time.
I mean, I could talk again. I have lots of
Hours.
words. Yeah.
I got lots of words too.
Yeah.
This is a very bad combination. Two people could talk forever. This is our life. Like, this is our project, man. As we close out, there are two things I like to ask people, but I wanted to make one specifically for you. If you had to survive inside of one of your own novels with only one specific cocktail to keep you sane, what novel would it be, and what would be the cocktail? Do not take into consideration survivability.
Okay. I mean, like,
they're hard.
I'm like, well, I would
making it out of.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I probably would choose my Western because it's post-apocalypse and it's crazy.
Okay.
So, like, it's a different world entirely. Like, most of my books take place in a, like, semi-normal world where something crazy is happening. That book is completely out there.
What's the name of the Western one?
Burial is its name. I would choose that. And honestly, if I choose one cocktail, I have to just pick an old-fashioned. It's just so simple.
Mm-hmm.
I could also easily get the ingredients for it in this post. Even they have sugar and bourbon. They still do. They go to a bar at one point in the
it's
book.
your world.
So
you made the rules.
Exactly. I do have their manuscript that isn't published yet. That is about how a man drinking old fashioned keeps him sane. So if I could, it would be that one, but that's not published yet. So it's not.
First of all, if you're gonna write about me, you should probably ask for permission.
Hey, I was writing about me.
Oh,
like, yeah, I'm like, it's literally like, oh, well, I mean, speaking of cosmic horror, it's about how, despite the fact this man is probably an alcoholic, it's also the alcohol that numbs him enough that he doesn't get taken over by the
old ones,
the old ones, the dark things, right? Like, it's the alcohol that keeps him human. A little bit. I don't know. It's a fine line to balance of like, oh, I'm advocating for people to become alcoholics so they don't get taken by old ones. But it's also like, I like to drink because it helps keep me sane. So
for everyone at home, drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
If Cthulhu is involved, then just
moderation.
Yeah. If
Cthulhu is out there, maybe have another drink.
I just have as many as I can.
One more.
Don't drive.
No. I mean, that's not really an op. I'm not going to talk about manuscript. That's not even, you can't even buy it, so it's fine.
I'll wait for it.
It's called Headshot.
Robbie, you're supposed to wait until it comes out. Listen.
Yeah, I know.
Second to last question is, what would be your deathbed cocktail? Just for those at home, as a cocktail enthusiast, is it
I have
frequency
one
courtesy? Because I think I ran into you twice.
Twice, at least twice.
Yeah. No restrictions. It can be whatever you want.
I know. It's a good question. I want to pick something really nice. Like, I'm trying to think of the best drinks I've ever had in my life, but I would say that a lot of times my favorite cocktails is not just, oh, the cocktail is really good. It's also like, oh, this is a really nice occasion. We're at a really nice place. It's a really nice dinner I had. Oh, I'm with great company. Probably I would say a really nice blackberry whiskey smash. That would be my my deathbed drink. Just give me a nice, really, like, I really love a whiskey smash, but I prefer it with either blackberry or blueberry. Blackberries, when they're ripe and they're really good blackberries, really fresh mint, give me a blackberry whiskey smash.
I am mad at that. I actually like that a lot. That's a good choice. I've never had someone actually give a smash. You'd be surprised at the deathbed cocktails people have mentioned, especially how random they are. But Robbie, thanks for hanging out with me. Where can people find your book? I know that we've already spoken about Words of Christ in Red. Where can people find that, your previous work, and where can people find you if they want to reach out, pick your brain, and mess with you a little bit?
I'm most active on Instagram. It's just my name, Robbie Dorman. And that's pretty much everywhere. If you just search Robbie Dorman on it, if I'm on a platform, I'm under my name. Instagram is where I'm most active.
For those at home, it's D-O, not D-O-O.
Correct. 1 O in there. My books are everywhere. Wherever you buy your books, typically Amazon, right? That's what people default to. But unfortunately, But my books are on there. My books are on Barnes & Noble. My books are on bookshop.org, where you can order from indie bookstores. Or if you go to your indie bookstore and ask for them to order my books, they can do that. You can go to my website, which is just, again, my name, robbiedorman.com, and I will ship signed books to your door. You order them today, I will ship them tomorrow. I am prompt. You will have to pay a small shipping fee. I'm not Amazon. But, and if you're interested in publishing, reach out. I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Do you have any upcoming classes or seminars that you want to promote as well?
Not anything scheduled, but we are doing, because I mentioned earlier, I have 3 different classes. We're probably going to be running a whole day of I'm going to do all 3 classes with breaks in between, and people can attend the ones they want. They can do all 3. They can do just 1 or 2 or 3, and kind of you get everything. So how to write a novel, how to revise a novel, and where and how to publish it, all in one day. We haven't scheduled that yet, but it is in the works. Follow Authors Anonymous. That's my writing group here in Orlando. Eventually, I'm going to get stuff recorded and put online for people to get on classes, like on some platform. But that's, again, I'm one man. We already talked about how little I sleep.
Hey, you were up at 3. Why isn't this website up?
I know. I have an audiobook I need to go vet. So I need to go listen to a whole audiobook and decide if it probably is good. The narrator, she's very good, but I have to go listen to the whole thing and make sure.
Okay, so upcoming Audible or audio coming out.
Yeah, underneath is going to be, I'm slowly adding audiobooks to every single book I have. This is going to be the first one, and Underneath, which is my bestseller by far, which is my love letter to The Thing. If you like Arctic terror, like The Thing, like Dan Simmons' The Terror, things like that. Awesome. That's what Underneath is. Yeah.
And how Blood on the Typewriter.
Blood on the Typewriter is my podcast. It's about interviewing other authors, I describe as interviewing dark fiction authors. Largely it's horror, because I know horror authors personally. It's easier to get them, but I'm slowly branching out, adding thriller people and other people, like dark fantasies and stuff like that. That's my podcast. It's wherever podcasts are. Wherever you're listening to this, Blood on the Typewriter is there as well.
Apple Podcasts,
Spotify, and hopefully, and I try and make it applicable to all kinds of art. I want to make it enjoyable to people who aren't even writers. Like it hopefully will appeal to anyone who wants to be creative.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure that you check the show notes. Robbie, once again, thank you for coming on. Chris Bishop, thanks for putting us together. In the show notes, you'll be able to get links to everywhere you can find Robbie's literature. Follow him, like, subscribe, share, show up to a class, learn how to write, learn how to publish.
Verbs.
Do all the things.
Yep.
Do the weird thing. At the end of the day, remember, do the weird thing, drink responsibly, take care of yourselves. If you like what we are doing, make sure that you follow at Arthur at Last Call. It's one of those things I'll put in the show notes. I've been drinking, okay? Don't be out here judging me. But subscribe, share with your friends, give a 5-star review. It's, for us, it means a lot. It helps the algorithms, because, the internet just pushes it down. And of course, don't text your ex, don't drink and drive, and avoid Amazon one-click buy. Take care, guys, and see you next week. Bye, y'all. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by Burn Termite and Pest Control. I first met Joe Byrne on Full Frontal Nerdity Show and decided to give his company a try. They have been the best pest service I've ever had, from flexible scheduling, attention to detail, fair pricing, and everything you love about a small business. I highly recommend Joe Byrne and Burn Termite and Pest Control. It's a family-owned and operated business with over 30 years of experience in termite and pest. You can reach Burn Termite and Pest Control at 321-297-7985. Once again, 321-297-7985. And let them know Bourbon and Bullshit sent you. Thanks, guys. See you next time.